I'm organizing a boxing match between Africans and African Americans this December. If African Americans win, every African is going to go back to Africa and rebuild Africa themselves. But if Africans win, African Americans are going to come back to Africa with us and we're going to build Africa together. Listen, this is a very serious issue. I feel like we have to figure out who is going to decide the future of Africans. Are we going to all go back to Africa and build it, or are we not going to go back at all? So the match is going to be happening on December 25th in the UFC Arena Octagon. You're going to bring your giants, Shaq. You're going to bring LeBron James, and we're going to bring Burna Boy, our own African giant. And we're going to fight until we find out who is the best African alive.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
So one of my followers actually posed a very interesting question that I would like to ask you guys. Are the children of immigrant Africans considered Black Americans? Because personally, I think they are. Or at the very least, they should be, especially if they're born here and then they're raised here too. Like if they're going to the same school, listening to the same music, they're experiencing the same stuff, I think that those kids should be considered Black Americans. Now the difference obviously arises in how we raised. But other than that, bro, if you're born in America, and you are around Black culture your entire life, your parents just happen to be immigrant Africans, I think you're Black American. Even if you're not like a full African American, you still assimilated into the culture. So in my opinion, you're still like an African American. But let me know what y'all think.
I never even been the type to speak on shit like this, but I got a voice, so I'ma use that bitch. Dead ass, I don't understand why African Americans and Africans are divided. If we go look in the mirror, we the same color. Yes, we might have different backgrounds, different cultures and shit, but it don't matter. At the end of the day, nigga, we the same skin color. We face the same oppression. I feel like we should really unite and become one. Why the fuck are we separate? What don't make sense to me is the fact that, nigga, every other race sees us all as one. They see Africans, African American all as one. They don't see us no different. Nigga, they just see Black. And it's crazy, the one that really recognized the difference and pointed out, nigga, is the Black people themselves. We're literally causing the divide between each other. We're going against each other instead of working together. That shit don't make sense. We're the same color. Every other race can come together and work together and benefit each other. They pick each other up, boost each other up. Black people are the only ones who are against themselves. Nigga, we're really against someone who's the same color as us. Somebody please elucidate this shit for me, because it don't make sense. And y'all boss, please don't be in my comments on my dick, because I get it, I'm not the most best spoken person. But son, I'm fucking trying, gang. At least I'm the one who came on here and said some shit, because a lot of y'all would just stay silent and not even say shit. I love African people. I love African American people. Y'all boss is the same people, gang. So that's why y'all need to stop going against each other and fucking unite.
So there have been an ongoing beef between the African Americans and the South Africans. In New Orleans, there was a cultural fest, and they dressed in traditional attires, and South Africans, Zulu to be precise, Zulu South Africans came out to say that that is their cultural attire, and they do not like in what way the African Americans in New Orleans portray their culture. So this caused a lot of African Americans to say that Africans do not like them. They came online to bash Africans and say that, oh, they've always known that Africans have some, look at them in some certain way. And the African Americans in New Orleans say that that is their attire, that is the cultural attire that they wear. And the Zulus say that it is them that have it. It is possible that the two of them are right. Let us not forget that African Americans are Africans. Regardless of them not being in the continent of Africa, they equally have the same right to certain cultures if the ancestors are found to be linked to that place. But I feel the Zulu people could have done that in a more loving way. You don't need to correct people and to be aggressive about it. You can correct people by being loving. And over the years, we've seen a lot of African Americans, the likes of Beyonce, portray Yemoja, which is a deity from the Yoruba mythology. And a lot of African Americans practice Ifa. Ifa is a traditional Yoruba religion, and it's a way of life for the southwestern people of Nigeria. A lot of Yoruba priests go to America to teach Ifa. And in New Orleans, there are people who practice Yemoja, they practice Oshun, and a lot more from the Yoruba pantheon, religious pantheon. And I would say that here is the message to the African Americans. The Yoruba people love you. We love you and we embrace you as one of us. And please, to my South African brothers and sisters, there are more loving ways that we can correct people. I understand that over the years, a lot of South Africans view other people, even if they are blacks, as threats. And this could be as a result of the long-lasting exploitation that has been going on in South Africa. It's understandable, but please try to see that not everybody is an enemy. In as much as Black Americans also have a lot of traumas that they deal with, you could correct people and tell them that, oh, you know what, why don't you do it this way? Correct people with love. Learn from the Yoruba people of Nigeria. The Yoruba people from Nigeria do this, and we haven't had problem with the Black Americans. A lot of Black Americans come to Nigeria. They come to southwestern Nigeria, to be precise. In conclusion, African Americans, I'm speaking as a Yoruba person. We love you. We embrace you. Please just try to learn about some of these things. I know that it's not easy. It's been long since you lost touch with your roots, but please try to be more open to learning how some of these things are being done, and be open to learning. It is not a bad thing. And please, my South African brothers and sisters, we can correct people with love. We don't necessarily have to come online to bash them. We want love and unity among Black people.
Hey y'all, I got a story to tell. Ain't really a story, but it's how I feel, and I don't give a fuck how y'all feel about it. First off, let me say, I love Africans, I love their culture and their music. Let's not get that twisted. Okay, so my problem is with the Africans that come from Africa and they come over to the United States, and the African Americans that's already here in the United States. What's the problem y'all got with us? I'm dead ass serious, because every fucking African that I've encountered, came in contact with out here in the US, let alone Las Vegas, y'all motherfuckers feel very much entitled and feel very much like we owe y'all something. Y'all very much rude. I don't know how to explain it. Y'all just know how y'all are. Y'all feel very much like big-headed and feel like y'all better than. I'ma just keep it like that. Keep it 100. I ain't gonna say all Africans, but the ones that I come in contact with rub me the wrong way. And I listen to y'all music like every fucking day. I love the music. I'm just trying to understand, what's the problem y'all got with Americans, African Americans? Because I see that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm just saying, what made me bring it up is I was out with my kids at Uptown Jungle out here in Vegas, letting my kids burn off some steam for the spring break or whatever week. And I come in contact with two African ladies. Now, mind you, sitting down on the bench, there's really no room. Sitting down anyway, I mean, I was on the edge of the bench. Let's just keep it 100. And I'm watching my kids while they jumping in the trampoline park area. And she sees clearly that it's no room, and she stares me down. I'm assuming she thought she was intimidating somebody. None over here, baby, because I can care less. And proceeds to sit down next to me and kind of like brushes all on my shoulder. You knew there was no room when you sat here. But then again, you gave me the stunky leg look and sat down anyway. I don't like that. Didn't scoot over, didn't say excuse me, didn't do none of that. Just looked at me as if I was a peasant. And I don't like that. And baby, I'm not the one.
There has been a black race war going on for many years now. So many years. And as black people, we love division. We love to argue and to prove a point. That is one of the things that I really don't like, is the division. I'm a guy of peace. I like working with other people. I like learning from other people. I like learning about other people as well. And so when there is just so much argument and no unity, it hurts me because I'm the complete opposite. And so we will squash this beef today. Let's hear every single part of all the reasons why we don't like each other. And then after we get all of the anger out and all of these things out and all of our experiences out, then we can relax a little bit and come to a great conclusion. Because I have a lot of plans for the Black world. I have great plans, but we cannot accomplish anything if we're constantly fighting. I have a lot of ideas, guys. On my free time, I am thinking of like amazing plans, great plans that in practice, if done right, can be revolutionary. But if we cannot come together, we're finished. Nothing will work. And that's the issue. I am African. I was born in Liberia, and I came to the States around the age of 5 years old. And so I have been in the States for about 20 to 21 years, around that time. So I've been here for a while. And there are 4 types of Africans. There's one, they don't like Black Americans. They don't like white people. They don't like Asians. They only like their fellow Africans. And they usually only speak to their fellow Africans. And it is true, there are some Africans like that. I have to admit that. And 2, there are other Africans who are just to themselves. They don't hate other people. They don't mind other people, but they prefer to stay to themselves. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't like you, you will really never know. You will not know. But as they speak about other people, their tone and their voice is like superior to other people. And it is usually in the form of a joke. And the 3rd type of African gets along with everybody. They don't care who you are. If you show them love, if you show them respect, they give you the same in return. And these ones have a universal mindset and don't mind anybody. They interact with everybody, regardless of their skin color, regardless of who they are. If you show them love, they will show you love back. I am this type of African. And then the 4th type of African are the ones that are obsessed with Black Americans, with Black culture. They just fall in love with it. They love it. They love every single thing. They engage in the culture so much that even though they are African, they are more Black American than African. So no, not all Africans behave the same. We vary a lot. Find people who at least can tolerate you, who can speak to you, who can show you love, respect. And if they love you very deeply, and they love your culture and all of these things, fantastic. Just find your tribe. That's what I'm trying to say.
So I've been seeing the debate between African Americans and African immigrants in terms of the experience, in terms of, African immigrants may be coming off as they're better than and things like that. And I just wanted to share my experience because I am Ghanaian American. My parents immigrated here, and I can share my experience growing up in this country. So just to give you a little background, my parents immigrated from Africa, primarily Ghana, in the 70s and 80s. Myself and my brothers were born here. I was actually born in New York, and then I was raised in New Jersey, and then I moved to Maryland about 12 years ago. So my upbringing was in New York and New Jersey. And I can tell you from experience as being a Ghanaian and being coming from a family of immigrants, my experience, I would say, was of course it was different because my parents spoke the native language to me. I will go to all of the family functions, and that was my experience growing up. But when I went to school and I started building friendships, and people around me were African Americans, and that's who I related to, because even though my parents exposed me to my African side, at the end of the day, the stuff that I watched, the things I was inspired by, the people that I talked to, the people that are around me were African Americans. And to be honest with you, the African Americans embraced me. All of my friends to this day are mostly African Americans. And of course I was teased, African booty scratcher, things that kids say. But to be honest with you, my experience with African Americans has been very loving, and they embraced me. I remember when I was younger and some people would tease me, they would come to my defense and support me. And I just want to say on this topic that first of all, African immigrants coming to this country is a privilege. So we have to acknowledge that it is a privilege, not a right. Number 2, the African experience and the immigrant experience is different. And we do have to acknowledge that. African immigrants typically came here by choice, and the African Americans right here did not come by choice. They were forced to come here. So we have to acknowledge that. But to be honest with you, my take on it is we are stronger together than divided. And I really hate to see the debate going back and forth, because we can really learn from each other. And at the end of the day, we are one. And I feel like both sides just need to stop this back and forth, because that's what they want us to do. And I just feel like there is such an opportunity for us to learn about each other, acknowledge each other's experience, and just continue to support each other, because like I said, we're stronger than divided, and we both have great attributes, great characteristics that we can share with each other. And I just hate to see the debate back and forth. But again, someone who comes from an immigrant family can speak to the fact that when I was growing up, they embraced me. Of course, again, you get teased, but it wasn't anything personal. It's just what kids do. And I don't think it's something that we should be debating about. We should actually be trying to band together to make a better future for ourselves and empower ourselves. But just wanted to share with you my take on it. And if you found this content valuable, just comment and share and tell me what your thoughts are on this debate. But I just hate to see it. All right, I'll see you guys soon.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
This black Brit versus black American thing is actually getting on my nerves. What is it achieving? What is it achieving? Like, honestly, we need to use this platform. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. We need to use this platform to unite, not divide, okay? We need to use this platform to come together and grow together. They're probably looking at us like, oh, look at them fighting again. What are they fighting about now? Oh, black Brits, they see us as all the same, guys. It's actually annoying. Just leave each other alone. It doesn't need to be a fight. It doesn't need to be beef. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Everything's going wrong. My life, everything. Because I'm just like so passionate about this, because it's actually getting on my nerves. I'm seeing it. First of all, it starts on TikTok, then wherever. But it's actually silly. It's so silly, and stop it.
I don't understand why Africans hate their own people. Like, just because we live in a different country doesn't make us any different than y'all. I mean, sure, our culture is different, but genetically, we're literally the same. And you want to know what's crazy? African people copy American culture, and black people want more of their culture. Like, really? We're literally going in separate directions, and that's what's dividing us. This stupid ignorance on both sides needs to stop. Like, it's honestly so dumb. I can't even believe I'm ranting about it on TikTok right now. Just love everyone. Understand both sides. It's that easy. And honestly, this is something I can rant about all day. If you guys are interested, follow me and let me know you want more.
How you mad at me? How you mad at me? Be real. Like, huh? You ain't for real. You ain't for real.
There is a big difference between African Americans and Haitians, and let me tell you why. The other night, I was watching a live, and it was a debate between African Americans and Caribbeans, and obviously there were Haitians present in the live, and one African American guy asked this lady, based off of the situation in Haiti, basically, do Haitians have consciousness? And I was like, what? I'm like, what do you mean, do Haitians, are Haitians conscious? So the lady had asked a question like, what do you mean? And he said, are Haitians fighting for their freedom or fighting the way the African Americans did during civil rights, like during their point in time where, there was extreme racism and white supremacy in America? And one thing that I really feel like this guy didn't understand is that during that time, African Americans were fighting white supremacy, they were fighting racism, they were fighting white devils. But in Haiti, we are basically fighting ourselves. We are fighting our government. We are fighting to basically have like basic human rights like electricity, like being able to have health care, having functionality in the roads where we drive. And it's totally different than what you guys fought for in America, which is freedom, which is to be able to like go to school with other white kids. That is totally different than what we're fighting for in Haiti. You cannot compare the two fights. It doesn't make sense. As being Haitian, of course, we know that our country, Haiti, is the first free republic, black republic at that. And we also help other countries fight for their independence. And there are a lot of other flags, other countries' flags, who kind of incorporate the Haitian flag colors out of respect for Haiti's help in, helping them get their independence. So you cannot compare the fight that you guys had as African Americans fighting white supremacy and racism and the fight that we're having in Haiti, where we're fighting ourselves, we're fighting our government, who is also black, and we're trying to kind of rebuild ourselves from the French stealing our resources and the United States also stealing our resources and us having to pay huge debts to them that has set us back so much. It is totally different. There's no comparison. So please remove it out of your mind that Haitians are not fighting for themselves, which is not true.
You know, one thing we have to stop doing is we have to stop bundling African culture, at least when we discuss it in Western civilization context, like it's one thing, like it's one monolith, right? When it's really, it's a bunch of different cultures within one overarching like culture. In comparison to African American culture, like when they talk about the two sides, like, oh, African culture versus African American culture. Because when you really think about it, at least in terms of the West, right? Like, for example, let's go back. What commonalities does somebody from Nigeria and somebody from Ethiopia really share? Like, they have some, but they're two completely different cultures from each other. There's certain overarching themes you may see, right? But those themes you can actually, if you hang around African Americans, you see those themes as well. Now, don't get me wrong. People kind of make it this thing because when Africans come to the United States from their countries, you know, they come into positions and they end up in positions where maybe they don't speak the most fluent English, or their English has an accent with it, or they speak multiple languages, or they dress a certain way, or they have certain connotations they believe of the society, certain things they stay away from, you know what I mean? These type of things, foods they eat, you know, like different regions of Africa share certain commonalities together, like West Africa and jollof rice, or East Africa and like eating things with bread, you know what I mean? Like injera bread, you know, just things like that, right? Or the Kenyas and the southern countries, some call it ugali. Well, that's one thing we all share. Some people say ugali. In the South, they call it nshima. Some people call it sadza. West Africa, we call it fufu. You know what I mean? But either way, right? So it's like, we gotta stop saying like, oh yeah, the Africans in comparison to African Americans. When we really have to think about it, like, African American culture is a culture within the black scope. Like, it's just like how we think about Jamaicans or Haitians. It's like, all right, boom. You got the African American culture, right? And this is one country of the 54 black countries, or 54 black cultures, or however you want to consider it. You know what I mean? But we can't make it like, oh yeah, the Africans, and then you got the African Americans. Because then we make it like it's two distinct different things. When it's like, they're different, but they're also very similar. And even within the African group, you got a lot of differences. You get what I'm saying? But it's all the same people. It's one love, man. But y'all tell me what y'all think.
I actually had a revolutionary idea for the black world. A few years ago, I actually thought about the state of the black world, and I was not pleased. I was very disappointed of the progress that we have made overall as a black race. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we could make a multi-billion-dollar trust, or let's say a fund or something? And all of us, if you're black, you pour money into that fund. And we have certain trusted leaders of each region of those funds. Let's say in the UK, there is a fund there, and there are a board of directors in that fund, right? And they oversee the fund. And we use that fund and we go and buy back all of the things that were stolen from us. We buy it in cash. All of us here can literally have the funds to invest in our own country. And nobody owns it. We all own it because it's a trust. We are all members of that trust. And there are certain rules that have to be filled. And we get the best of the best talent and create a lot of jobs. And since we will be in charge of everything, we can actually pay the workers a decent wage. We can reinvest anywhere in the black world, whether it's in the favelas of Brazil or in Kenya. Wherever it is where black people stay, we can go over there. We can create a lot of opportunities. We can have the best of schools because we'll have the funding for the schools. And the things that really need to be taught, we can teach them. And we can actually pay teachers a living wage. We can control our own thing. But the question is, are Africans willing to come together to do this? Are black Americans willing to join hands with Africans to accomplish this? Are Caribbeans, black people from South America, are they willing to come together to accomplish something like this? One thing about me is that I know how to stir up a crowd. I know how to get people on my side, because to me, the vision is so clear. And as I explain it to other people, and as I show passion, because in my voice, you can tell that things like this, I am very passionate about. And when I explain this, people get excited because I'm excited. They love my enthusiasm. And so I can gather people up. But the question is, how large is this fund going to be? The other question is, are black people globally willing to come together to accomplish something like this for our own people so that at least we can have something going on? And number 3, will it end like Black Wall Street? There's a lot of land in Africa. There's a lot of opportunities. It's literally like ground zero. But can it scale? Can it be global? Can it be influential? Can we really work together instead of arguing all the time? It's just stuff like this that I sit down at times and I think about. And I'm like, that would be so nice. That would just like help a bunch of people out, change lives, create opportunities, really bring unity together. But can black people accomplish it? Can we actually work together? You guys tell me.
And the harsh reality of the situation is, Africans don't like African Americans. If you knew some Africans growing up, you knew at least one first-generation African kid who had parents who did not like African Americans at all. Like, their parents literally hated everything to do with African American culture. They hated the food, they hated the music, they hated the way we dressed, they hated everything, the way we talked, all that. And it was always so funny. And the part that always confused me was, you got here less than a generation ago and you already have internalized racism. You came here with a closed mind. Like, I completely understand you think that African Americans are lazy, but now your son out here having a mixed baby. Now what? But honestly, at this point, I can't even blame him. If I came over here and I saw people who look like me doing 20v1s and kiss or slap pranks and other stuff like that in public, I wouldn't want to be with them either.
In New York, let's really talk about it. What's the beef? Like, why is Black Americans beefing with Caribbean Americans? Like, why? Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but the only thing, in my opinion, that is changing is the people that's coming in and the people that's leaving. I want to wake up the conversation because I hear a lot of people saying, oh, black culture in New York is diminishing or is nowhere to be seen. It no longer exists, blah, blah, blah. New York has always been a melting pot. I think what people fail to realize is New York City is not like every other city. Like, this is probably one of the most diverse cities that you're going to get. The experience that you get here is not going to be the same experience that you get in Cali. It's going to be a totally different experience. As someone who lived in Atlanta and I was heavily engulfed in club culture, the tea is, right, when you get to these other cities, and this is why I say New York is not like every other city, the music is drastically different. You would know that you're no longer in Kansas, aka New York anymore, just by listening to the music. I faced a culture shock moving to Atlanta. You could go to Georgia right now, and the three songs that's coming straight out of New York that they're gonna play, My Shit, A Boogie, Ooh, Young M.A., and Millie Rock. You're expected to only hear those 3 songs when New York has a plethora of artists and new music. If you're Caribbean and you expect to hear a whole set list, in Georgia, you're not going to hear it. The one Caribbean song, quote unquote, that they're going to play constantly over and over to show that they're diverse is Everyone Falls in Love. Shorty came on here and expressed her concern saying, like, listen, I'm not hearing the music that I want to listen to. And I get it. Like, I understand you being American, wanting to hear American music. However, this is New York. We're in one of the most diverse cities. You're going to hear music from everybody. I understand not wanting to hear soca and dancehall all the time. However, you have to think about who's the DJ and who's playing, because 9 times out of 10, these DJs have their set list up and you know and you can expect what music they're going to be playing at the club. Come on now. My name is Diamond. Here's my 2 cents. I don't like the division between Black Americans and Caribbean Americans in New York. I don't like it. I don't feel like we should be so divisive. If we're really being honest, I feel like everyone is slipping away. It's not just one certain demographic. I feel like we're all losing those hidden gems within every community. It's your girl Dom and you just clocked in. Text me in the comments your thoughts on what I'm saying. Don't forget to like, don't forget to follow. Later, y'all.
Africans sure got a lot to say about American blacks. Bet. Africans don't dislike Black Americans because we lost our culture. It's because deep down, y'all jealous. Y'all jealous that we the cultural engine. We created the music, the fashion, the slang that influences the whole world, buddy. Y'all really hate it didn't come from y'all, huh? Y'all bought the lie that we was just descendants of slaves, knowing it wasn't true. Cause real talk, our people was already here, bucko. You not looking down on your long lost brothers and sisters. Y'all looking at a stranger. And that's why our energy don't match. And being all the way real, y'all mad y'all ancestors wasn't taken. You mad y'all still living on dirt roads and battling colonial systems. While the ones you think are lost became the blueprint for the Black global culture. Y'all could dress like us, talk like us, rap like us, but never forget where the sauce came from. And if we was just slaves, why y'all trying to be us? Y'all say we don't know our tribes, but y'all don't know y'all power. American blacks been through hell and we still came out leaders. We could talk lineage, but make sure you put some respect on that shit. American blacks don't need to prove our origin. Next time you start hating, make sure you check your reflection, partner, cause y'all dressing just like the same people you trying to look down on. That ain't hate, that's jealousy. Go on and own that, rub it in your chest.
African and Caribbean black people who seem to carry this air of superiority towards Africa.
Now, sis, I usually love your content. I really, really do. You always hit the nail on the head. But with this one, I'm going to tell you that you missed. And I'm going to tell you the fuck why. If memory serves me correctly, there was a whole trend on this app with black people on this app trying African food and talking mad smack about it. A whole entire trend. I remember this going around. And obviously, not everybody has to like everything. Not everything is for everybody. But some of the words people use to describe these people's food is completely fucking insulting. I'm from Caribbean descent. I'm an immigrant. I came here at a well-developed age, and to fit in with black kids, with African American or with African Canadian kids, I had to change everything about myself. I had to change how I dress, how I spoke, what I was into, just basically everything in general. To just not be the weirdo in school. The most bullying and mocking and laughing about my culture came from other black kids because I never used to hang out with white kids. Take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, or don't. I really don't care. The reason why we have this attitude towards you guys is because you guys seem to have the same sense of entitlement that white Americans do. And the crazy part is you guys don't even see it. What you're mistaken for what you think is arrogance and the superiority that we think we have over you, it's pride. It's pride in our culture, in our food, in things that we had to create out of nothing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but you're a part of that influence too. A massive part of it. Some of you seem to forget that the only difference between all of us is simply a boat ride away. So some of y'all got dropped off in America, the rest of us got dropped off in the Caribbean. You guys have sweet potato pie. We have sweet potato pie. Ours is just called a pudding. When us Caribbean and African descent have our differences thrown back in our face in a negative light from childhood, damn right we're gonna be a little bit fucking touchy about it. And the fact that you guys can't even see it is so mind-boggling to me. This is why I say you have the same sense of entitlement that white Americans do. We see it, you guys don't.
As a Haitian who came to America in the late 90s, the xenophobia, the discrimination, and the racism that President Trump is inflicting on foreigners, it now makes sense to why the African Americans used to bully other black foreigners so much, especially the Haitians. I mean, even the Haitian Americans used to bully Haitians. I just hope that one day all of us, people of the black race, can come together and revolt, because they have been playing in our faces for way too long. Enough is enough already.
We were literally obsessed with black America.
Hey, yo, what's good, y'all? So, if you go back and watch his full video, that creator, he's talking about the relationship between black Americans and people from Africa. And he's talking about how influential African Americans were on African culture where he's from. Like, basically, he's talking about how African Americans had a strong influence on the culture of his particular country on the African continent. And he's basically saying that, like, when he was growing up in his country, people in his country, Africans in his country, were obsessed with black Americans. And, like, that video kind of made me smile a little bit. Because he said he basically was talking about how influential black Americans were and how in Africa, in his country, they copy all the trends that black Americans do. They mimic everything black Americans do. Like, they were extremely obsessed with us. It just really made me think about how, y'all know how, like, when people from Africa come to the United States, right? And they, you know, a lot of African immigrants do come here and dog black Americans. Like, they trash talk us so bad. And when we bring up the fact that people from Africa act like they don't like black Americans, one thing that they always try to throw in our face is, oh, well, y'all called us African booty scratchers in elementary school. And we just be looking at them like, wow, that's so petty. Like, you don't like black Americans as an adult because African Americans, you know, picked on you in elementary school. Now, stay with me. I feel like that's legit. So this man was talking about how obsessed people in his country are with black Americans. So let's say, imagine you grew up in a country in Africa, and you know, you grew up in a country where there's nothing but black people around you, but a lot of the black people around you live in like oppressive situations where like the Europeans have come and they have scrambled for Africa, and what they left behind was squabbage that the people are still fighting to get through. And you turn on your TV and you see all of this black greatness on TV from these black people who are from America. You see them on your television. You hear them on your radio. You follow all of their trends. You follow all of their styles. And then you learn about them in history books. And then you learn how these black Americans are connected to you because of the transatlantic slave trade. We are the descendants of the warriors who got taken away. And say you view these black Americans almost like your long lost cousins, these great, amazing people you see on TV. And then America is this great, amazing country where black people can go and succeed. America is this great country where black Americans fought for people to have rights and privileges and opportunities. And then you come to the United States of America, like as a child, and your very first time interacting with black Americans, your very first time, you know, interacting with these people that you like, that you view them as like the people you see on TV, and you come to America as a child and you're interacting with these people in America, these African Americans that you see on television. They're so cool, they're so trendy, they're so stylish, they're so influential, and it's your first time interacting with them, and you don't get nothing that resembles love. They pick on you because of your accent. They make fun of you because you're different. They call you names. They call you African booty scratcher. And the treatment that you receive from them is not love. It's like you spend most of your primary school days being picked on and bullied by black Americans because you're from Africa. Now, we know that that is a problem with colonization. We know that that is a colonized mindset that causes black American children to pick on kids who are from Africa, right? But imagine the hurt that you would experience. Imagine the hurt that you would feel when you grew up in a country where you grew up obsessed with black Americans and black American culture, and then you come to the United States of America, this land of opportunity, and your first time interacting with these people that you grew up being obsessed with, they're bullying you and picking on you, and you deal with this all of your primary school years, you deal with this all the way through high school until you become an adult, when black Americans have finally started decolonizing themselves. And we're saying, oh, we all need to get along. You know, we've all been colonized. And then they're talking to you about how you don't like black Americans. And you say, well, you guys called us African booty scratchers in schools. You guys teased us. You guys made fun of us. And then those same black Americans are telling you that you being upset because African Americans bullied you in school is silly. Imagine the hurt that they would feel. I feel like as African Americans, we always, you know, are talking to the diaspora about how they treat black Americans, because a lot of people in the diaspora really do treat black Americans like shit when y'all come to our country. But I also feel like as African Americans, we should take accountability for how our American mindset has caused us to view people who are black from other countries almost as if they are less than us. Like, because, like, let's be real, like, America did teach us that, you know, kids in Africa are African booty scratchers. You know, like, America did teach us negative things about black people from other countries. And I feel like as African Americans, if we want the diaspora to heal, we cannot just sit around and continue to complain about people from other countries looking down on us if we're not going to take accountability for how we made some of them feel when they first came to this country, especially when we were all children. We know that children have a hard time processing feelings, right? And that when you become an adult, the things that happened to you as a child become a part of your core memory. A lot of people from other countries, their core memories are them growing up in countries where they admire and are obsessed with black Americans, and then coming to America as a child to be bullied, picked on, and outcasted by African Americans. Watching his video just kind of put some things into perspective for me. Like, it really made me think, like, the hurt that African immigrants feel when they come to America and they're outcasted by black Americans. Like, it is kind of legit because you grew up in a country where you were obsessed with these African Americans and you viewed us like your long lost cousins who lived across the sea and then came here to be rejected by them. You know, it kind of makes sense why you would grow up feeling some animosity towards us. It does. And I feel like as African Americans, we should take accountability for that.
What is going on with Africans between African Americans?
None of your business. In other words, black folk business is black folk business. To make it simpler, don't worry about the drama happening in a certain community that you're not a part of. We as black people, especially Afro-Americans, have been addressing the diaspora wars happening within our community, and that's for us to mitigate. And even if you're just genuinely curious, you asking that question is lighting a fire that we're already trying to extinguish. There are white tea people in the United Kingdom who don't care for white tea people in the United States. Inquire about that. There are people in France that don't like the way people in Canada speak French. Inquire about that. Across the world in different diasporas, there are many differences that groups have that stem from misunderstandings, but that's for those groups to figure out. And contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of Africans that don't have a problem with African Americans and vice versa, so don't generalize. And that's coming from an African American who's actually been to Africa, hence the shirt. So if it's not your community, don't worry about it.
So are Africans, African Americans, and black people the same? I don't know. Let's talk about it. So in my last video, I got a lot of people asking, aren't Africans black people? Yes, black is global. You can go to any continent, any country, black people live there. And please understand, I'm not trying to cause divide and division. I'm really trying to just create a discourse and conversation about what the difference is. So as I said before, I am first generation Nigerian, and I have been here for a very, very long time. So I understand the dynamics between African American, and Black all at the same time. So when you're from outside of America, and since we're talking about Africa, let me make it even more specific for you guys. I don't claim Africa as a nationality or as my ethnic group. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I claim Nigerian. And I think that's like the difference between Africans and African Americans in this country. Africans, when you know where you come from, like that's what you're claiming. Like, I don't know what's going on in Mali, Sudan, South Africa, Morocco. Like, I know what's going on in Nigeria. So I claim Nigeria. So like African Americans have to claim all of Africa. And we get it. It's not you guys' fault. It was the colonizer. He came and snatched you guys and brought you over here to America. So you guys don't know exactly where you come from. So the reason why I don't claim all of Africa is because I'm from Nigeria. Even more specifically, I'm from Maiduguri. Maiduguri is in Borno State, which is all the way up north in northern Nigeria. And like even like more specific than that, like I'm Hausa. So yes, Hausa is a tribe, but even like more specific, I come from Margi people. So even though like I'm Hausa, I even know like my specific tribe. And so I get it. The average African American doesn't know where they come from. Like, I get it. You guys do the 23andMe. It tells you like bits and pieces from where you're from. But like, I know every inkling about my heritage. And so because of that, other Africans do the same. Like, they are proud from the country they come from. They're proud to be African, but they're not going to claim African. They're going to claim whatever country they come from, Niger, Ghana, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, wherever they are from. And the thing about Blackness is, since I've been in this country, there are African Americans who don't want to be called African Americans. They want to be called Black. And I've come to learn and respect that. However you want to choose to identify, we all have the right to do that. Before I am Black, I am Nigerian. And that's what I claim first. But I do claim Black. Like, y'all see this brown chocolate skin? Like, of course I'm Black. And I would never deny my Blackness. And Africans aren't denying their Blackness. But the thing is that first generation especially, they know where they come from. So I feel like that's what the confusion and the mix-up is. We just know exactly where we came from, whereas you guys, it's broad. So I hope that makes some sense. Okay, bye.
Hey besties, how you guys doing? So I made a video the other day talking about Africans and how we are very successful when we come to a foreign country or travel abroad. And someone commented on the video that Africans will be everywhere except their country. And I was kind of taken aback by that. I decided to check the person's profile and I noticed that the person was actually Black African, and I was shocked because this is coming from a Black African or an African American, which of course from the name, you're African. You cannot deassociate yourself from your roots. You are African. The fact that your grandparents or your ancestors came here in one way or the other doesn't change the fact that you're African. So why are you saying that we are everywhere but our country? I have Black American friends or Black African American friends, and they identify as African. They are proud of their roots, of their heritage. They are proud to be among Africans. They love everything because we are one. We are Africans. And again, I don't even want people to start thinking that my video is against any particular race. No, I just feel that our culture, our continent needs to be on the map. Like, people need to know us more, So that's why I make this video. So it's not like I'm trying to bash any race, but for you as an African or an African American to say you're not African because you've been in the United States all your life, or your ancestors were here, and bro, look at your skin. Look at the mirror, look at your skin. What are you? You're African American. The fact that you've not been to Africa before doesn't change the fact that you're not African American. I said it. All African Americans are African. And if you're in America, you're African American. Okay? So stop saying Africans will be everywhere except their country. What are you? You are African American as well. When you go to fill your forms, what do you put? African American. What race do you put in there? So, as I said, I have nice, beautiful, lovely African American friends that identify as African American, as Africans. What are we saying? Like, just like we're contradicting ourselves. Okay? We're one. We are one. African Americans are Africans. Okay? And any African that moves to Africa, See me now. Any African that moves to America is also African American wants to become a citizen. Period.
We have to see what the real core of the issue is. Black people globally have trauma, and we have various ways of dealing with that trauma. And at the end of the day, we literally experience being at the bottom wherever we go. And the issue is we have been put down so much that once we are up, or we think we are up in our minds, we try to put other people down as well, just because we were put down. And that type of historical traumatic response or behavior is not normal. Let us treat each other with respect, with love, you know, and just keep it pushing.
This diaspora shit just gotta stop. Like, do y'all niggas ever get fucking bored of just bringing up the same topic? Because, like, when you're saying this as a Haitian or, like, an African, a Sudanese, with, like, whatever you are, when you're saying this as any of those people, and it's directed towards black people because we're ignorant, whatever the fuck, you do realize you're spewing white rhetoric, right? Like, you're spewing back white rhetoric at us because of what the media shows you. But also on top of that, within those same statements, like, you're spitting in the face of people who marched for just black people in general, just people who went through strife for black people in general, and gave you the ability to come in here and reap the benefits of living into this country. I don't fucking get it.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.